Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, I'm sorry. I want to talk about a subject that I think is important when it comes to sobriety. But before I get into that, I want to talk about my hair. Don't click off. Only because it's relevant, really. I feel it's relevant to the rest of the subject. For those of you who know me from my other channel, you'll know that I've always, I was going to say had long hair, I've always had hair. And now I don't really have much at all. And it has felt a compulsion over the last few months to cut shorter. And I know the last video was pretty short. And then I went crazy. And the difference is I don't have a fringe now. I've always had a fringe. And it's relevant because I looked in the mirror after doing it and thought, what the fuck have you done? You look ugly now. You look ugly. And obviously that wasn't a good feeling. And it brought up situations that I've had in my life where I've been called ugly at school. Somebody picked on me and called me ugly, and a teacher I had a crush on called me ugly, which was not good. And those experiences in your formative years, in a time where you want acceptance by your peers, you want to feel like you belong and all that malarkey. When you don't feel like you belong and you're not accepted, it's quite devastating. And those things affected me quite a lot, really. And I've also felt, I might have mentioned this before, I'm not sure, that to have any self-worth, I always felt that I had to be attractive to the opposite sex. That was what was important. So if I ever went through periods where I thought, nobody likes you, nobody fancies you, nobody desires you, then I felt quite down about that because my interpretation was I was worthless. I'm not saying this was all a conscious thought process, but on some level, that's how I felt. Of course, I realise that that's horseshit because that would mean that only people who are attractive to the opposite sex, which to be fair could be everybody really, because beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But if you were just looking, only attractive people have got any self-worth or worth as a person, that's obviously not true, is it? It's not true. But that's how I felt. And then cutting my hair off, because obviously for women, it's seen that women need to have long hair to be attractive, to be feminine, to be sexy. So cutting off my hair made me feel unattractive. And that was difficult because so I've been working on that and letting go of that need to be attractive to the opposite sex. And at the end of the day, attractiveness is not just about how you look, it's about who you are as a person. So I'm quite happy to count out any man that looks at me and says, oh, you're not attractive because you've got short hair, because I'm not interested in a man who would think that, because he can't think any further than that, any deeper than that, and he's quite a shallow person. Why would I be interested in somebody like that? Seriously. But anyway, it's kind of been almost like a crash course for me in self-acceptance. And that's why it's relevant to the subject. But the subject is sobriety and self-worth, self-love, self-acceptance. Because I've read lots of books on sobriety written by people, for the most part, who've had an issue with alcohol and now don't have an issue. And they're all very compelling and convincing. And it's like, I thought, yeah, but you can know all that. You can know that it's poison for your body. You can know about all the situations you've got into because of alcohol. You can remember waking up anxious in the morning and how unpleasant that was. You can remember doing that thing and thinking, oh my God, I didn't, did I? But you still carry on doing it, which is what I've done over and over and over again. So I thought, why would I continue to do it? So I was thinking, is it a lack of self-love, self-respect? Because why would somebody choose to do something that they know is negative to themselves? Why would we choose to do anything, whether it's drinking or getting into toxic relationships or staying in an unfulfilling, crappy job or eating shit or whatever it is? Why do we choose to do that when we know it's not right for us? We might get some pleasure from it. It's a normal thing. It's seen as a normal thing to do, so that is why we do it. But when we have got to the point where we think it's destructive, it's bad for us, and still carry on, I think, is it a lack of self-love? Tell me what you think. That's if anybody bother. Tell me what you think. That's if any bother. Tell me what you think. If any. Tell me what you think if any bother. I can't say this. Tell me what you think if anybody bothers to watch this video. Obviously not meant to come out, that sentence. How do you treat a thing that you love? How do you treat a person that you claim to love or love? With care, kindness, consideration, compassion, understanding. You want the best for that person. This is if you truly love someone or a thing. I mean, sometimes people treat their cars better than they treat themselves. But we all have probably some idea of how we treat a thing that we love or care deeply about. Do you treat yourself like that? Do you feed yourself good food? Food that's optimum for you? Only you know the answer to that. Do you get exercise? Even a walk now and again? Because our body's supposed to move. If it wasn't, we'd just be like mannequins that don't move. We are supposed to move, so exercise is good. And of course, there's all the other aspects of life: finances, relationships. Are you in a fulfilling, happy relationship? Or are you in a relationship where you accept crumbs off your partner? You're giving everything and they're giving nothing back. You know, are you in a job that makes you miserable? If a person has self-love, it'll affect all aspects of their life. It has to do, I think. Obviously, not drinking is an act of self-love, isn't it? Because you're not putting poison into your body. I mean, you might argue that, well, I enjoy a couple of drinks, so me giving myself enjoyment is self-love. Okay. I won't argue with that if that's what you think. 2 cups of bleach a day, though, it wouldn't be an act of self-love. It'd never be seen as an act of self-love, would it? Bleach is poison, alcohol is poison. I know there is some differences, but, you know, it's poison at the end of the day. So only you know if you have self-love, and only you can decide to work on that. Some other barriers to self-love. I mean, drinking can get in the way of self-love, especially if you're doing stupid shit like I have, and then feeling ashamed or embarrassed or guilty or whatever. And it's like Rachel said, when you cut out alcohol, you cut all that out, that, you know, things that you might do that you regret. If you take that out of the equation, you're left, you know, you at least can work on loving yourself because you're not constantly putting in, dropping on yourself that guilt and shame, embarrassment, whatever. And obviously the self-criticism that goes with it. And we need to stop the self-criticism, of course. But guilt and shame. If we have guilt over something and we can't let go of that guilt, Louise Hay said that guilt seeks punishment. So we'll find a way to punish ourselves. And it's not that it's necessarily a conscious process, but on some level, we'll be punishing ourselves because we feel bad. Somebody who feels like a bad person doesn't seek out positive, good experiences because they don't think they deserve them. Or you can't, it's like, even trying to find somebody you love. I want somebody to love me. But when you feel like a bad person, somebody might come along who wants to love you, but because you don't love yourself, because you feel like you're a bad person, you can push that away or just not believe them or sabotage that good thing, which is quite sad, really. So ways to love yourself, to start loving yourself. Firstly, you need to have an awareness of your critical thoughts. And I think to have an awareness, you've got to sit and have some still time. When I was younger, I would just feel shit. And I think, I don't know why I feel shit, what's going on. Now, for the most part, I can recognise that, well, because you're telling yourself some shit. These things that I'm telling myself can be so quiet, almost like a whisper, that it's sometimes hard to hear them. But if I sit and ponder, give myself that time, I can think, oh yeah, I'm just telling myself I'm not good enough. That's not good enough, or whatever it is. And that's why I feel like shit. So being still and recognising the thoughts can help stop the process of self-criticism. But it is a process and it takes effort. You know, you've got to replace it with, I'm doing my best. I am doing my best. If I could do better, I would do better. But right now, I'm doing my best. It's hard. It's a hard one. If you've been a lifelong self-criticiser like I have, it is a hard habit to break. I'm a work in progress. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm making any progress, but you keep trying. And again, as I've said before, not drinking helps. It helps because it helps you to have clarity. It helps by not putting you in situations that you later regret. It helps by not changing your physiology. You know, alcohol depletes vitamins and minerals that help your mental health anyway. So many reasons not to drink. Show compassion. Again, it's sort of linked into the first one. Show some compassion to yourself. We can be so hard, can't we, on ourselves? And we reach out to other people. We reach out to other people to give us all these things that we want. I want somebody to understand me. I want somebody to love me. I want somebody to be kind to me. Whilst beating ourselves on a daily basis, verbally, Don't work like that. You've got to love yourself first. Because like I said, you won't accept anybody else's kindness. You won't believe them. You'll push them away. That's can happen anyway. So give yourself some compassion. It feels so much nicer. You know, I've been really hard on myself, so I might be feeling down and I might get upset. And I know in the past I've like, oh, for God's sakes, stop feeling sorry for yourself. I won't tolerate it if somebody said that to me, but I'll quite happily say it to myself. I'm trying not to do that anymore. It takes practice. It is a practice, but it can be done. And also, when you start being kind to yourself, it's a contrast. So when you're in a habit of mistreating yourself, somebody else does it, and yeah, you might not like it, but it's almost like, well, this is how it is. It's familiar, is this? Somebody being horrible. So you might tolerate it. But if you got to the point where I'm all right, I'm a decent person, I deserve to be loved, I deserve some respect, and then somebody comes along and starts giving you grief, it's like, hang on a minute, I'm not putting up with that. I don't deserve that. So you start acting differently, and then you'll start attracting different kinds of people. Or you certainly won't tolerate arseholes for longer than 5 minutes, whereas you might have tolerated them for several years in the past. So it changes your life, changes your experience. So it's worth the effort to work on it. You're worth it. I'm worth it. So obviously, other practical aspects, try and get enough sleep if you can, you know, shut down technology. An hour before bed, if possible.
Can you do that, Carl?
No, I can say it though. Take some supplements. Magnesium can be helpful for sleep before bed. Try and get some exercise, even a walk. You know, you don't have to go to the gym and lift up 9,000 pounds of weight or run on the treadmill for 86 hours. A walk is better than nothing. And it's about accepting your efforts as well and being okay with that. Because I've got perfectionistic tendencies. So it's like, no, I'm being on the treadmill for 86 hours. So there's just no point in doing anything. If I can't do that, then don't bother. Horse shit. Go for a walk. That is better than nothing. So yes, don't criticise yourself, but also praise yourself for what you do right. I've got a bad habit of not even recognising what I do right. So yeah, jump on myself the minute I get it wrong.
Oh, have you done that for? That were rubbish.
But if I do something right, yeah, and so what, you know. It's like getting my degree. I left school with no qualification, well, 1 level, English O level, that was it. I get a degree at the age of 40, 2-1, which is really good. And it's like, I didn't, in my own mind, it was almost like, oh yeah, okay. And I think that was my dad's attitude towards me. I think that's where that comes from, just a thought there. So it didn't matter what I achieved. It's like, yeah, so what? So what? So what? How does that encourage you to go on and do more things? It doesn't, does it? And I need encouragement. So yes, acknowledge what you do right. Don't matter what it is. I got up today, I got out of bed. Fantastic. And it's important, isn't it? Just be kind. Just be kind to yourself. Like I said, eat the right diet for you, whatever that is. The one that makes you feel the best, look the best. Try a few different diets if you're not sure what that is, but cut out the crap, and you probably know what the crap is. Setting boundaries. That's important, to look after yourself. Learning to say no to people, and I know that can be difficult, especially people you're close to. But anybody who truly cares about you won't mind you saying no. If saying no is you looking after you, anybody who cares about you will be okay with that. So if somebody kicks off, makes a big fuss because you've said no, how much do they care about what's right for you? I'd question that. But anyway, that's up to you. But not setting boundaries, saying yes when you want to say no over and over again is really bad for your health, mentally and physically. In fact, some people were saying it could even, that long-held resentment can lead to cancer. So that's pretty serious. I think that's everything. My battery's going to run out soon, so that's good timing. Anyway, thank you for tuning in and watching, and give me a like and subscribe and whatever else. Share the video if you think it'd be useful for somebody. If you're interested in talking to me, I'm not having many takers at the minute, let me know. I'll put my email under the video and you can get in touch. Yeah. Or if you've any ideas of things that you'd like me to talk about, you could also put that in the comments. Yeah, I'll leave it there then. I will leave it there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.